Welcome back to another Crypto in a Minute Weekly by Satoshi Economy, episode number 40. December 21, 2019, Bitcoin's at 7,337. How to answer crypto questions at Christmas dinner. So what I'm going to do is just give you some suggestions and emphasis on suggestions. The reason why I say that is I understand we're all different, and although I try to come across non-combative or encouraging, some people may be, confrontative and bombastic and belligerent. But whatever works for you. My goal in this video is just to give you some assistance or aid for suggestions in how to respond, because it's a very valuable thing for us, those of us who are immersed in this technology and in this ecosystem, to be the ones within our family or our network at arm's reach, to be the ones who can answer questions like this quickly and qualifiably. So, pardon me. We'll just discuss that a little bit, and the first question. So, just classically, what's this Bitcoin thing? And what I suggest is ask them a question back. It'll give you two things that will help you. Number one, you'll hear more about what their perspective is or where they're coming from, what they're really trying to ask. And number two, it'll give you a pause to also think about how to respond. So what is this Bitcoin thing? Well, why do you ask? Is it because you want to know how people are making millions and billions and you do too? Or you just want to be more in the know and more knowledgeable? Or is it because you want to tell me how bad it is? And stop right there. And as I mentioned, that will, first of all, it'll, just the fact that you ask them to say more is a very good, a very good way to operate. So, let's say they come across more like they want to know how people are making millions and billions, and that's usually what they want to do. But one thing to understand for us is, and to be reminded of, is those of us who are immersed in this ecosystem, we know so much more. And I don't say that with pride. I say that just factually. We really do. They know so much more about what they research or what they're immersed in, naturally. But when they ask, the experience I've had is when they ask questions, most people just want to act like they are the know-it-all and they should be the one to be having everybody come up to them and ask them questions. Or they also want to, a lot of them just want to tell you how stupid you are, or to try to embarrass you. But some people, that's not most people, but a lot of people also, they want to really pick your brain for suggestions because they've already asked a dozen people what they think. So there's all kinds of people, but just understand that we know much more, and most people, what they say when they're asked questions, you realize that they have absolutely no idea what the heck they're talking about. If you were to ask them, who is Andreas Antonopoulos, or who is Satoshi Nakamoto, or where's Binance located, or things of that nature. Have you heard of Mt. Gox? They're like, what? And of course, those are, just for example, some very, very important things for us to be aware of. But so let's say, I want to know how people are making millions and billions. Well, still there's too many questions as to which technologies are going to succeed. After all, there's thousands of cryptocurrencies that are available. So we don't know which ones are going to emerge as the winners. In the traditional financial system, we have, say, Walmart, which has emerged as the leader for goods, Hilton, we could say maybe for hotels, and Levi's for jeans. But the same thing is taking place right now, except this system is just in an embryonic stage. So you could say something like, because of like the central banks are now getting into designing their very own digital currencies, it makes sense for you to consider, and they're going to love this when you tell them this, it makes sense for you to at least consider, at the very least, positioning some of your wealth in this sector. Oh, and by the way, Mrs. Smith or Mr. Johnson, did you know that Bitcoin is or was the number one investment during this entire decade that we're living in right now? Bar none. It was way far over and above number two. It was the number one investment in the world during this decade. Let's say one thing too, you could say, what do women think about more, money or their partner? And the answer is they think about money. And did you know that here's another question, kind of set them back to listen to you instead of them trying to tell you everything. Because that's really what you want. If it comes to a point where they ask you the question for their own reasons, I kind of respectfully kind of decline saying very much at all. But for every woman who has a wallet in this ecosystem, did you know there's 14 men who do? But at the same time, 80% of the shopping is done by women. And they'll be like, what? No, I never knew that. But this is an intriguing natural fact that when they hear you ask a good question like that, they'll be like, hey, I need to get this guy on speed dial. You know what I'm saying? So to begin with, what's this all about? Ask them a question. It'll help you to know more where they're coming from and also give you a little bit of time to muster up how you're going to be responding. So what if they are more like they just want to be more in the know? And then you could say, to be in the know, the best thing is to first know what Bitcoin is not and why it is bad. And to know that, just keep on reading and listening to the mainstream media. I'm serious. I can't keep a straight face when I say that, but this is very serious. This is a very, very good thing to do. A great way to operate, to know what Bitcoin is all about, is to know what it's not. So just listen to the mainstream. I would say 90% of the news is bad or designed to cast a dark shadow on the ecosystem. And there's a very, very logical and reasonable reason for that, because this system is disintermediating money, which is, practically speaking, well, amongst the top 1, 2, 3 things that people are concerned about. But so encourage them to continue to read and listen to the mainstream narrative. But if they really want to be smart about what it really is, that they need to, there's ways to find out news that is smart news, or more from the more experienced or the more seasoned or more reasonable, a more contrarian, a more upcoming, and has disruptive slants. But you have to know, and you can tell them that, but you have to know where to go to hear this stuff or where to find it. And ask them, do you know what Internet 2.0 is? Do you know how the satellite technology is a very important thing amidst this, which doesn't have to do with the Internet so much? Do you know have you ever heard of non-inflationary currency? How about self-banking? So these are some of the things that you can come back with as far as like, well, you want to know more? Well, continue finding out what it isn't. And then you could tell them some of the things that it is. And by the way, on YouTube, my channel, I have one from a year ago. It's Happy 10th Birthday Bitcoin. It's a 35-second video. And on that video, I have hyperlinked 80 links to further information and really good websites that people just from that one video could go down a rabbit hole. What if they come across more like they want to tell you how bad it is? I would say, and then they'll start telling. You say, may I interject something here? Please first tell me what your sources are. Is it your brother or your dad or CNSBC, CN? I always say CNLSD, so I can hardly say what they call it. What is it? CNNBC? Or is it Forbes or whatever? Just kind of hold them accountable to where do they get their sources. And then just let them speak. Because someone who's going to try to tell you how bad it is, well, they are likely that you won't be able to really, they won't be open to listening to you anyway. But I really hope that some of this is helpful. If some of it has been for suggestions, please smash that love button on the YouTube. Appreciate that, so that more people can have the opportunity to hear some of these things. I really hope that you have a great Christmas time, and that you consider also, or have it, you just be reminded to have it on your mind how you can give. My hashtag is love all, serve others. Please smash the like button, click the notification bell, and I, again, just want to sign off saying I hope you have a great Christmas time and a Happy New Year, and until next time, peace.